Hello Cancer friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Cancer July 2025 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. This is a very exciting time for Cancer, which of course is based on the fact that Jupiter is in your sign for a year, and for the short term you've got the Sun moving through your sign. That means if you are a Cancer Sun, it's your birthday time. So happy birthday to all Cancers who are having your birthday now or just have. And also blessings to all of you who have any other Cancer placement, because you've got extra energy for your sign right now. Besides all of this, we've got Uranus changing signs, and we're in a pretty epic time for humanity where all the outer planets, Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, and now in July, Uranus, are changing signs. It's really rare for an outer planet to change a sign. It happens any time from a year for Jupiter to 20 or so years for Pluto. So the fact that they're all happening within the same range of time is a really big deal. We're going to talk about what Uranus moving into Gemini can mean for Cancers, plus talk about the new moon, the full moon, where you'll be seeing Mercury Retrograde specifically for Cancer, and anything else I think will be of utmost importance to help you have the best month possible. This is for you if Cancer is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Cancer placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And for very late degree Cancer friends, so birthdays like July 15th through the rest of the sign, or 23 degree Cancer placements through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Leo report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. Okay, so what I want to do is talk about the shorter term things and then build up to the longer term things, and I may throw in some of the longer term effects as we move along here as it's relevant to where we're focusing. So let's start with the Sun. When the Sun moves through your sign, if it's your sun sign, it's your birthday. If it's another placement, that means the warmth of the Sun is exhilarating and bringing great life and progress to all of the things that you have in that arena of life. So we've got home and family, we have your inner world, we have real estate, housing, and ancestry, your roots, and all of that. So in the short term, we've got the Sun amplifying that particular arena. In the long term, we've got Jupiter expanding those arenas. And for Cancer placements specifically, this also accentuates your first house. So this is a short-term and long-term soul growth era for Cancers, saying it's your time to rise, but not through pressure. It's more through alignment and expansion. Okay, so with the Sun in this area and all of this other energy, it's allowing you to have the chance to be seen more fully and to focus more on your emotional space while you link that towards bringing your best self out. So this means you are growing into a brighter version of yourself, and you're finding your authentic way to express. This may be more inspiring or expansive or feel more lucky because of Jupiter's presence. And the Sun there can also help you feel more energized or drawn to new paths of expressing yourself about who you are. Because when things cross over this cusp, it has to do with how you present yourself out in the world. So, there's a big story that's going on here in the short term and also the long term, and it's highlighting your physical body and your relationship with your physical body. Symptoms are the body's language of telling us that it needs something, or that we're having too much of something, or that something is awry. So during this time, the short term, for this few weeks, the Sun is there, and the long term, for the time Jupiter is there, you have a chance to revamp that fluency with your symptomology in your body. The more you start to connect with your body language of when it's telling you something, the more you'll be able to have a nice fluent communication and give your body what it needs for optimum health. So this is a time where you really can regenerate your physical health, and that's very exciting. Okay, so as the Sun moves on later in the month into Leo, it will join Mercury in Leo, which will become Mercury Retrograde in Leo, which will also have new moon in Leo. And all of this is going to accentuate your house of money. So let me give you some dates. Oh, okay, that's better. So we've got Mercury going into retrograde on July 17th, but that pre-retrograde transit shadow period started June 30th. So that means all of July is covered in retrograde. July 17th through August 11th is the actual retrograde, and it will take from August 11th 11th through August 26th for Mercury to get back up to speed. That means for July and August, it's going to be very difficult for you to plan anything for those months. And during those months, it will be difficult for you to plan things for the future. So if you know this ahead of time, then you'll be more likely to honor the retrograde lessons and imagine yourself being on the shore and the tides are coming in. And instead of trying to push something out on incoming tides, you hang out on the shore and see what comes to you, and you deal with what comes to you. This also coupled with the energy of the earthworm, which is the totem of the retrograde. And the earthworm goes back over soil to make it fertile for new growth. So this is an inward and backward energy. It's a time to be responsive, not proactive. And it's a time to make internal decisions, not external, lasting, long-term decisions, unless they're experimental or short-term. Around July 24th, we also have that new moon at 2 degrees of Leo. And of course, in the days around the 21st or so, the sun will get there. So all of this is focused on your financial health, your financial wellness, your financial security. And the new moon can help you plant seeds to enhance that experience. The sun will give a spotlight to show you what's great and amplify and bring warmth and energy and focus, and can also show you what needs to be fixed and give you ideas on how to fix it. The retrograde process will make you ask questions about the past, what things worked for you financially in the past, what people or resources can you go to help you shore up your financial success, and possibly even income coming back from the past. If someone promised you something or someone owed you something, you may see the retrograde bring back those financial promises into fruition at this time. Now, everyone will be experiencing the Leo perspective, and with all of this energy, the sun, the new moon, and Mercury, let's talk a little bit about that. That is the ruler of the 5th house, which is ruled by the sun and has to do with your passions, dating, true love, romance, children, creativity, your bucket list, things that you've always wanted to do. And this is a time where you can begin asking those questions. How are your finances in line with doing the things that you would like to do? How do you have to budget, or what do you have to do to be able to have the money to do the things you want to do in those arenas, etc. So there's this retrospective focus very much directed about your creativity and things that basically make you feel like all of your cells are sunflowers and lifting up toward the sun. That's what I always like to associate with Leo energy or the sun energy or the 5th house energy, which are all the same. So, you have a chance to revisit those things and align your financial power behind those things. You'll be asking a lot of questions about how you earn and save and spend and how you charge. You'll have a chance to let go of outdated beliefs about worthiness and about producing, and worthiness based on producing. You can also revisit projects that may have earned money from the past, or some past ideas you can bring back around to start to earn money now, especially if it's a short-term or interim thing in between you figuring out the bigger picture. There's definitely a financial reevaluation on all levels going on. Okay, then we've got Mars moving through the 3rd house, going through Virgo. Virgo is also a health sign. The 1st house of Aries is a physical body house. The Virgo sign that Mars is moving through is health focused, so it shows us that you might be very obsessive about your health at this time and making great headway and strides in your wellness routines. It's a really good time to try things on, especially, if there's a flexible arrangement, and a time to go back to things that worked or to do research to find things that may work, because my little saying is wherever Mars goes, obsession flows. So you may notice that you are researching things for your health. You are communicating with people about things. You are interacting with your relatives. This is a big relative, cousins, aunts, uncles, siblings. You may notice that this is coming up in some way. Writing, speaking, pitching, quick trips, meetings, research, these family members I mentioned, all of that may be what you're deciding to put your Mars energy into. Now, at the same time, we're going to have Venus moving into Gemini and the 12th house for Cancer. The longer term transit Uranus will also be moving through here. So these energies we're going to talk about for the 12th house not only have a short-term boost from the perspective of money and love and romance, or well, less the romantic aspect of it and just the love aspect of it. And well, actually Venus does rule that too. We'll just put all of that in there as well. So, relationships and money and design and self-esteem are all going to go into this deeply private and mystical zone. So you're dancing with these subconscious love patterns. You may be figuring out ways to use art or spiritual gifts to earn money. And you may have unexpected emotional awakenings, the short term and the long term, from this Uranus energy. So it's a seismic sort of, lightning zap sort of energy, and it's going to revitalize and revamp how you interact with your subconscious space. Uranus in this space can make things a little bit unstable in your emotional space, and so seeking to find anchors to ground out this energy are going to be very important, not only for the short term, but also for the long term. Uranus will be here for 7 to 8 years. Hasn't been here for 84 years. And, it's definitely a time where you can have genius insights and lightning strike breakthroughs. And it's also a time where you can feel a lot of ups and downs in your mood, and you may be seeking to find solutions and anchors to help this. Of course, meditation is one of the best things in many different forms that you can do it. Physical grounding, like your feet into the earth, even hugging a tree, many things that people think are metaphysical or spiritual really have a scientific basis and a ground, and nature is one of those things. Nature gives us positive ions, and positive ions can improve mood and also can scavenge free radicals, which can help with oxidative stress, which can help with our health in many different ways. So it's not just like a woo-woo thing to say hug a tree or be out in nature. It's actually scientifically shown that there is something that's measurable that occurs in that space, that we can see a difference in biochemical markers. So you may find that going into that space can help to ground out some of this instability in this location of your being. So this whole cycle is bringing these radical awakenings beneath the surface and quietly, and sometimes with spurts of loudly, transforming your inner world, your subconscious mind, and your relationship to the unseen. So this is less about external change and more about your soul liberation, your hidden insights, and dismantling these very, very stodgy inner patterns that have been running the show without your conscious permission. So finding and clearing these belief systems are going to be part of the opportunity and the invitation that Uranus in Gemini is giving you as it moves through this 12th house. This is the type of revolution that you can't see, but you can very much feel, because this 12th house governs the subconscious mind and dreams and intuition and isolation and retreats and spiritual connection and unfinished karmic patterns and ancestral memory and secrets and hidden fears and self-sabotage. This is the area where Uranus is going to bring shocks and innovation and liberation and disruption. But if you have something stodgy and stuck, disruption may be exactly what you need. You may also benefit from technological tools like apps for your subconscious space. And there are so many things. I've mentioned this in recent times. I'm going to mention it again. There's a headband with an app called Muse, M-U-S-E, that can help read your brainwaves so that you can use brain neurofeedback to change your brainwave state, which is very, very powerful because you can train your brain. And this type of thing might be the type of tech combined with, managing and mastering your mind that goes on. So there's like a spiritual jailbreak possibility here where you've just been trapped and you can be set free. And you'll have many different junctures during this 8-year cycle that you can do that. So you're being released from this, like an unconscious cage, so you might see deeply conditioned fears just like bubbling to the top unexpectedly to be freed. And a lot of questions about freedom, mental freedom, and mental imprisonment, and the ways that, your thoughts and your patterns have done that for you. So, you're basically rebooting your system and getting more connected with symbols and, the symbolic language of the universe through synchronicity and dreams. Okay, so you've got this karmic unraveling going on in the short term and the long term, and that will continue. And then we've got, in the days around July 10th, we've got a full moon at 18 degrees of Capricorn. Fullness, completion, fruition, possibly drama that have to do with work, business, employment, because that's the sign that Capricorn, or that's the house that the sign of Capricorn rules. But specifically for Cancer, this is going to occur in your 7th house of relationships. So you may have a commitment shift in the days around the 10th, realizing you've been giving, how much you've been giving versus how much you've been receiving. There may be a restructuring of the dynamic. There may be an argument or something coming to a head. There may be a conclusion or a solution or an accomplishment in a group, or like a project with a partner. And definitely something coming from the unconscious, bubbling up to the conscious to be dealt with or to experience. So we've had, like I said, the Pluto, recently Saturn and Neptune, very recently Jupiter, and just this month Uranus all changed signs. If you want to know more about what that means in general and specifically what that means in your chart, go to my personalized outer planet transit report at anniebclarity.com. Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. And see the outer planet transit report. It will give you lots of details about where these transits are taking you in your personal chart, plus more about the general info that can help you to make the most of these potentials, because they're very, very long-term themes. And it's something that we don't always cover super well in astrology reports, because these are long-term stories, not the short-term ones that change month to month. Okay, so you can see that there at anniebclarity.com. If you want to study astrology, either to earn money as an astrologer or just to help yourself and your family and your friends, and you resonate with how I teach, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com. If you want to see the sweet and salty dates of this month, I gave you some dates to work with, but if you want the sweet aspects, the salty ones, go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free VIP community. When you get the welcome letter, click on the archive link and put July 2025 astrology, and you will get that report. And I always send those out 1 month early. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.